When God calls for obedience, he very often tells of the blessings that will come to the person who follows his words. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. In the Old Testament, God was teaching his people how to live for him. He had spelled out all the law and the expectations for his people, but they were quick to forget his directions and not follow what they knew to be right. So God speaks to them through Malachi, calling his people thieves and robbers for holding back what they knew to be God's portion, which was the tithe, or 1/10 of all his blessings. He says in Malachi 3:10, "Bring you all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out for you such a blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it." God's rule for his people in the Old Testament, as well as in the New Testament today, is to give back to him 1/10 of all that he has blessed us with, whether it's our paycheck or gifts or special earnings. But the children had been holding back their gifts and their tithes to God. He even says to them in Malachi chapter 3, "Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have we robbed you?" And he says, "In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation." You know, many don't see this as robbing God because they say, well, this is my money or my income. What they fail to see is the fact that God has blessed them with everything that they have and all that we have today. And he only asked for 1/10 of it back. Whereas, used to, the wait staff required some 15% as a tip and then 18%, and now it's 20%, some places even more. God says, "This is all I require of you who have been so blessed, and yet you have robbed God." I mean, surely they had seen the curse on their people or on their land because they were holding back giving what was due to God. Many people will testify as to how God blesses us when we're faithful to give him that 10% back. So here his promise is said, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse," which is the local church, by the way. It's not some televangelist. It's not Feed the Nations that you see on TV. I realize these may be great ministries and worthy of your support, but the tithe is what we bring into the storehouse. It is to care for the needs of the church. And he says, "I will pour you out a blessing." Go ahead and test me. See if I won't just open up the windows of heaven. Can you imagine how the blessings would fall on us if we just followed his word? He even speaks about such blessings that his people would not be able to store it. Now, we realize today that we're not giving so that we'll receive an abundance back. We are giving because we're being obedient to God, and certainly he has blessed us. So we're giving back to show our appreciation for his blessings. But this is his promise of blessing for obedience, of giving back to God his due. "I will open the windows of heaven, and I will pour you out such a blessing that you will not be able to receive it." I think we should try that. I think we should try being obedient all the time. But I certainly think we need to give to God as he has called us to and see him bless us for that obedience.